everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. In today's video, I'm going to talk about who the narcissist really is and why it's so important that you don't underestimate how dangerous they can be. Before I get into that though, because it's Friday, what I do on Fridays is I hold myself accountable and I let you know where I am in the process of getting my divorce. So this week a lot happened because I actually met with my divorce attorney. I paid her, so I paid the retainer. I officially hired her. We talked about a bunch of things I was concerned about, and she's in the process of filling out paperwork, and so am I. I'm going to meet her again on Wednesday. I'm going to sign all the paperwork and file next week, so it's finally here. However, with that said, my meeting with her did not go well. It went horrible, actually, and it wasn't because of her. It was because of the state of New Hampshire. In the U.S., each state has their own rules and regulations for getting divorced. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to get a restraining order at the same time or right before I filed for divorce from my ex. My ex has been physically abusive to me in the past. I'm very concerned about what he might do. I don't know how he's going to take it. Because he's been abusive in the past and his mental state is extremely poor, I wanted to get a restraining order. It turns out that even though he's been abusive in the past, I can't get a restraining order because he hasn't been abusive lately. So I can't, basically I'm a sitting duck. I can't get a restraining order unless or until he tries to attack me. So that puts me in a pretty bad position. And on top of that, the way they do it in New Hampshire is that the person who files for divorce, their attorney sends a letter to the other person telling them that they're being sued for divorce, basically. And then that person has to go to a courthouse and pick up some information, and it goes from there. Well, my ex is homeless. I don't know where he lives. I have no idea anything about his living situation. And he still gets his mail at my house. So that means that my lawyer has to send the divorce information to my house. So that means he's going to pick up his mail. Every once in a while, he'll come and pick up his mail. So he'll be right outside my house getting this letter. So I have to tell him ahead of time that I'm filing for divorce. And on top of that, if I don't do that, well, either way, because he's going to be at the house. I've mentioned before on my channel, people are always surprised to hear this. This is true. The post office, if you sign up for this service, they will send you every single day an email. And in this email will be pictures of all the mail that's coming to your house that day. They're very clear, legible pictures. So if I don't say anything to my ex, he's going to get the pictures of the mail, and he's going to see that he's getting something from an attorney. He'll look the attorney up, he'll see it's a divorce attorney, and he will be over at the house in a shot. So that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. So that's one of the reasons why I have to tell him ahead of time, because he'll know about this in the morning. But even if he didn't, he's still going to get the mail at the house. So he's going to be right outside the house and he's going to see something from an attorney. He's going to open it right away. I'm afraid he's going to march straight up to the house. Now, if he does that and he causes a scene, I don't know, maybe he won't, but what if he does? I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I can't read him on this, so I don't know what he's going to do. If he comes up to the house and causes a scene, I will call the police, but the problem, this is why I wanted to get the restraining order, the problem is that it takes the cops 5 or 6 minutes to get here. Now, that doesn't sound like a long time, but it is when there's an emergency. You know, a couple of years ago, I had this rabid raccoon in my backyard, and I called the police and they came in 5 or 6 minutes, and that was fine because I wasn't afraid for my life. But when I've had to call 911 in the past on my ex, I was actually afraid for my life. And 5 or 6 minutes is a long time. And you're on the phone to 911 and they'll tell you, okay, ma'am, the police are 3 minutes away. They're 2 minutes away. You should be able to hear the sirens any second now. When you are sitting there and your kids are crying, you are terrified, and somebody's banging down your door, screaming and yelling, telling you they're going to kill you, and you're standing there, then start counting to yourself and think, okay, ma'am, they just left the police station. 1, 2, 3. It's terrifying. It's horrifying. So that's the situation that I'm going to be stuck in. And then on top of that, I found out. I found out after my ex and I split up because I get his mail at the house, so I started getting all these collection notices. Turns out that my ex has, are you ready? $100,000 in credit card debt that he charged up behind my back that I knew nothing about until I started getting all these collection notices in the mail for him. The thing about this is that I didn't charge even 1 penny of it, not a dime. My name isn't even on the credit cards. Nothing benefited me. We weren't going on vacations, I didn't have jewelry, we weren't going to expensive restaurants. None of that happened. I don't even know what he spent the money on. I suspect it was gambling. He's always been a gambler, always loses at gambling. So I suspect he was gambling. He lost. He was gambling more. He was taking cash advances and it just snowballed. That's what I think. Maybe it was pornography. I don't know. I don't know. I do know I didn't benefit from it and I didn't do anything about it. So I expected that this was his problem, not mine. Well, my attorney told me we have to try to make sure that he doesn't hire an attorney for a couple of reasons. If we can get him to agree to everything, all we have to do is sign, file, and it can be done in 2 to 3 months. There's really nothing to split. It's, in New Hampshire and probably most states, there's just this like formula. This is how the divorce is. It's no fault divorce. The person who makes less money gets alimony. You get alimony for half the time that you were married. The person who has the kids gets child support. Split the house 50-50. That's it. That's all we do. There's really nothing he can do about that. Because I'd be the one that is benefiting from alimony or child support, I could say waive alimony or waive child support or take less or whatever. There's really nothing he can do. It's really just a formula. So it really is a situation where if he just, okay, this is how it is, I would get alimony for 10 years or unless I get remarried. I would have child support until my kids graduate high school. There's really nothing that he can do about that. However, I wasn't even thinking that this $100,000 was going to be a problem, but it turns out because it happened during the marriage, even though I had nothing to do with it, I could be 50% responsible for this. So my lawyer is like, well, if he hires an attorney, the first thing that attorney is going to do is try to get you to have to pay half that debt. So I was devastated after that. I was distraught. Joe had to talk me off the ledge. I was so upset about this. So I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. And the thing is, my ex is, he's a narcissist. He's not a nice person. He's not, this is the thing, it's his fault. He's the one that was drinking behind my back. He's the one that charged all this up. It's him. Everybody who's with a narcissist, you understand the breakdown of the marriage is because of him. Now, my ex claims that he is in AA. All right, I do think he goes to some meetings, but I actually met Joe through the channel because he has some familiarity with AA, and I was saying some things about AA on the channel, and he offered to help me out. So because of Joe, I have a deep understanding of AA and how my ex should be. And what he's claiming, my ex, that he's 2 years sober, he should be making amends. He should be turning over, he should be like becoming a new person, a good person. And part of that is making amends and taking responsibility for the things that you have done. So Joe said to me, he's like, you know what? If he was really in recovery, if he was really trying to be a good person, he would take responsibility for what he did. He would be calling you up saying, what can I do to help you? How can I make your life better? I know I did this. I can understand why you don't want to be married to me. I'll make the divorce as easy as possible. I know my ex really isn't in recovery for a couple of reasons. One, he's not doing that. And two, he's a narcissist. So narcissists are not capable of change. And that's one of the things I really want to talk about in today's video. So that is where I am in terms of the divorce. So any of you people who pray, please pray for me, because I need to figure out over the next few days what I'm going to say to my ex, how I'm going to talk to him. And I don't know what his reaction is going to be. I know he doesn't love me. I know he doesn't love the kids, but I know he wants to stay married for his own convenience. I'm hoping selling the house and him getting that money will be enough of a benefit for him that he'll just take this and that it can be easy. I don't know if that's wishful thinking or not. One thing that I've come to realize lately, now I've known this to some degree, but it hit me in the last few days, how dangerous narcissists truly are. So many of us are in these relationships with narcissists, or were in these relationships with narcissists, and I really think we underestimate who these people are, because it's very difficult, if not impossible, to really put yourself inside the head of a narcissist. But what I've come to realize, how demented these people are. They're not human. They don't think the way that we do. Their default is cruelty. Truly, they are capable of obscene acts of cruelty. They will destroy your life and not care. So what I really want to get across is, if you are in a position where you're going to end a relationship with somebody like this, please be very careful. I've come to realize I'm in a very dangerous position. This is the most dangerous time when you are ending the relationship with a narcissist, because they don't have anything to lose. They're people that don't have humanity in them. They're not thinking of you as a person or your children as people. They're thinking revenge. How dare you? How dare you leave me? You're going to pay for that. That's who these people are. So be extra cautious if you are if you're divorcing a narcissist. I think we've been conditioned almost to make excuses for them, to think, well, they're not that bad, or they're going to change, or they can change, or, you just accept their abuse because it's been going on for so long. When people are good people, and by and large, people who are involved with narcissists are good people. So you make up excuses. Well, he didn't mean to do that, or I'm sure it didn't. It just came out that way. That's not the way it was intended. I used to believe, I said this in the last video, my ex gave me a silent treatment. I used to believe that he didn't know what he was doing, or he didn't want to do this, that somehow beyond his control, he was giving me a silent treatment. I don't want anybody to do that. If you are with a narcissist, accept who they are. Do not make excuses. These people, these beings, these things cannot change. Think of them almost like a robot. They're programmed to destroy, and you are the target that they want to destroy. This is really what is going on. I was always afraid of my ex physically. That was the main thing I was afraid of. And I underestimated him because I had a low opinion of him. So he's a lot bigger than me. He's like literally 3 times my size. He's closing in on 300 pounds. I'm closer to 100 pounds. He's huge compared to me. And he's physically abused me in the past. So that was always where I would go. It would just be physical. I've really come to realize lately how dangerous he is emotionally, how dangerous he is with his mental illness. Narcissism, just to say narcissism, that doesn't touch the devastating reality of what it is. So I'm talking to Joe the other night, and he's like, you got to be careful. Let's talk about who this guy really is, what we know about him. So this is what I know about my ex. And when you really think about it, it's scary. This is somebody that is homeless, or just about homeless. I don't even know what his living situation is. I don't know. We've been separated for 1.5 years. I don't know where he is. He claims he's homeless. I think he's probably sleeps in his car sometimes, but that he lives in a hotel or some cheap place where he pays by a week or something. That's what I'm assuming. But he pretends he's homeless. I don't have any information on him. He pretends that he's changing his life through AA, but he claims he's been sober for 2 years. He doesn't do anything. There's nothing he does. He doesn't help anybody else. He just occasionally goes to meetings and will go to different parties that they have and stuff. He goes to work and pretends that he's still married. He wears his wedding ring. He asked me for, I have chickens in the backyard. He asked me to have eggs so we can bring him to work sometimes. He's pretending that he lives a regular life. I think he's at work. And he must be fooling people to a large degree, or he'd be fired. I think he goes to work and he's just literally oh yeah, over the weekend Sharon and I did this, or the kids did this, or this is what's happening. He's living completely delusional, a completely phony life. He has $100,000 in credit card debt. He completely ignores it. He doesn't pay it. I get these collection notices. He just ignores it. He is living this insane existence. This homeless guy, he's on the edge. He's on the edge. And not only that, but he's put his career in extreme jeopardy. He works in finance. For those of you that work in finance or are familiar with it, You can't have bad credit and work in finance because you're working with other people's money. You have to have good credit. He will never get another job, ever. This $100,000 debt that he's carrying around that he's not even paying, that's in collections, if his job finds out about it, he'll get fired. He will never get hired again. He has screwed himself. That, of course, does give me a trump card. If he causes too many problems, one thing I can do, I could just call up his office and get him fired. I could just tell him to run a credit check on him. Now, of course, that would put me in danger, but that is something that I could do. That's like really one of the only things that I have. But he's never going to get another job. He has screwed himself. So he's lost his family, lost his kids. He has no friends. He has this huge debt. He is on the edge when it comes to his job. He's not doing anything to help himself with his emotional issues. He has gained so much weight. He is huge. He's fat, like he's really obese. I couldn't believe how bad he looked when I saw him. He has edema, and like at first when I saw him 2 times this year. The first time I saw him, one of his legs was so swollen it looked terrible. And there's like no shame. There's no shame. He doesn't care. Like he doesn't even have, there's no reality to him. Like if that was me, I would not want people to see me like that. I just wouldn't. I'd be like, oh my gosh, my leg looks terrible. I saw him a couple weeks later. His other leg had swelled up. So it's like, it's getting worse. He looks terrible. His entire life is falling apart. There's no benefit to his life at all. So when he finds out that I'm about to divorce him, that's the only thing he has left, is this hope that somehow he could still have his family, like that this could work out. It's partly his delusion to even think this. There's nothing. He has lost everything. This divorce that's the last thing he has. So I need to be very aware, and all of us do. If you're in a position like this, you're in a dangerous position. Do not underestimate them. I always underestimated my ex, and I ended up getting in a lot of trouble because of it. Because I did not have a high opinion of him. I basically thought my own husband was a loser. He would always fail at everything. He was lazy. He just never succeeded. He never advanced in his career. He never made more money. He just was stagnant all the time. He wasn't a good husband. He wasn't a good father. We started going to church a couple years ago, and it really hit me how different he was than other people. My ex always kept me very isolated from other people. Once I really started seeing how other people live, my eyes were opened. But I looked down on him, so I wasn't thinking that he was capable of really anything. All this time behind my back, he was doing horrible things. And God knows what I don't know. I don't probably know hardly anything that went on. I know he has this debt now. I know some of the things he was doing. I know he was a secret alcoholic now. I didn't know all these things. So like I said, there's other things he's doing that I don't even know about. I don't know to this day. And I think one of the things I underestimated was how dangerous he can be, how dangerous all of us are. We end up normalizing their abuse. We're so used to it. We make up excuses. Well, he didn't mean to do that, or I'm sure he didn't. It came out in a way that he didn't intend. That's the type of thing we always say. But I think it's very important for us to be aware that these people are more machines than people. They're programmed to destroy. Narcissists, this is really who a narcissist is. They're dangerous, conscienceless, selfish, sadistic, and evil. Nothing can change them or help them. They completely lack humanity. They're things, and they'll go to any length to get what they want. And oftentimes what they want is revenge and to punish you. Their default is rage. They find pleasure in hurting you. It was always a problem in my relationship how unprotective of how unprotective of me and the kids my ex was. But I had no idea that not only was he unprotective, he wanted to hurt me. He was narcissists are very jealous people. There were so many times that something good would happen to me, and immediately he would downplay it. He would ruin it, lie about it. Abuse is always a part of a narcissistic relationship. It's all a narcissist knows. It's how they feel good. So it's difficult for a normal human being to understand. People hang on to these relationships trying to fix them, trying to change the person, trying to reach someone that can't be reached. You need to understand that who a narcissist is. They are truly empty vessels seeking fulfillment by using and abusing. They don't have an emotional life. Do not make the same mistake that I did, where I underestimated my ex. All this time, he was abusing me behind the scenes. He was keeping all these secrets. And I'm going to tell you, there were 2 times I think that I was very close to being killed by my ex. First time was in August of 2019. He was passed out. He was passed out drunk in his car a little ways up from the house. He had all these bullets in the car. He had 30 to 40 bullets. Somebody saw him and he was carted off to a mental hospital. I don't know what he was doing with all those bullets. I think that there was a chance that he was going to come into the house drunk and shoot the kids and I. The second time was the last time we were together. He was acting crazy that day. He was banging his head in the wall. I've had other videos about this. He's banging his head in the wall. He was acting irrational. Police had to drag him out of the house. I found out that week that a few days later, that what he had done, he had stopped paying all bills. I think that there was a chance that he was just going to kill the kids and I. Like, we have guns in the house. I think that he was just going to shoot us. That's what narcissists do. I'm not saying all of them do this, but when you hear people that take out their families because of financial trouble, that's what they do. When I was looking for my ex's social security number to go to a lawyer, I found in his file cabinet all these credit reports. He was running credit reports on himself every single month. He was having a major downfall. He went to the mental hospital in August of 2019. We split up in December of 2019. He was doing credit checks every single month. So it started in August and his credit was good. It was like in the 700s. Then it went down to 600s. It was 570 in December. He was watching himself go down. So it went from good to poor. He was watching this happen. Everything was spiraling out of control, and it's only gotten worse since we've split up. I think that I could be in a very dangerous position. So I'm not trying to be paranoid, but I'm also not going to pretend anymore that everything's okay. My most vulnerable time is every day, twice a day, I go outside to check my chickens. He knows what time I do that. I think he stalks the house. He showed up at the house unexpectedly last week. I have 40 acres of woods behind me. He knows what time I go outside. I've been carrying a gun with me when I go back and forth. This is your life when you're with a narcissist. All I want is to get out of this relationship. I just want to start over with my kids. I want out. But to get out, it takes so much. So when you're in these positions, do not underestimate how dangerous the narcissist can be. It's really it's a lesson. It's a learning lesson. All of us who are in these relationships, it absolutely sucks, but do not believe and do not pretend that this person is just misunderstood or that they can get better. If you are really with a narcissist, they are beyond any help at all. Take every precaution. It is worth it to take these precautions, because if you don't and something goes wrong, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very grateful for everybody who supports the channel. I'll be making a video this weekend with Joe, so he'll be on the channel on Monday. I think we're going to do something, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're going to do something on narcissists and addictions. So stay tuned for that, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. God bless you.